9 miscarriages, 9 heartbreaking losses. Can you imagine being told by multiple doctors, we don't know why this keeps happening, and just keep trying again? After each devastating loss, if you've experienced recurrent pregnancy loss and been given no answers, just told it's bad luck or your age, then you absolutely need to hear this incredible story. Today, I'm sharing a powerful testimonial from one of my Hope Fertility Coaching Program members. She endured 9 miscarriages before doctors finally said that there was nothing more that they could do. But she refused to accept that answer. We're going to hear directly from her about how comprehensive testing revealed the root causes her doctors missed, how addressing thyroid dysfunction and progesterone deficiency changed everything for her, and how she went from constant pregnancy loss to carrying a healthy baby to full term at the age of 41. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Marc Sklar, also known as the fertility expert. For over 23 years, I've been helping women who've been told there's no explanation discover that there are always answers. You just need to know where to look. What you're about to hear isn't just a success story. It's proof that unexplained recurrent pregnancy loss usually isn't unexplained at all. It's just undiagnosed. Before we dive into her story, I want to share my free masterclass with all of you. The proven 5-step system to transform your fertility and reignite your hope to get pregnant. This masterclass reveals the complete approach I use to help women overcome recurrent losses. The link is in the description below. Now, let's hear her transformative journey from 9 losses to holding her healthy baby boy. As I always do with these stories of hope, we're going to hear from her and I'm going to interject along the way. Additionally, what I'd like to start doing now and what I've just recently done with some of my previous stories of hope is at the end, I'm going to recap some of the big points, some of the key things that she mentioned that I think are important for all of you. So I'm going to summarize that at the end. So really stick with me till the end so that you can hear all of that. Okay, let's start.
So I've been trying for a baby for some time. I suffered with miscarriages, recurrent, and I visited the doctors. I tried quite a lot of them, and they didn't have any explanation. They said that I was okay, that my husband was all right. The thing was that they didn't run lots of tests, but they just, said that they find no problem. And as long as I get I'm able to get pregnant, so it's fine. And so I should try then, basically. That's what they said. And altogether, I had 9 miscarriages. And in the meantime, I was able to conceive twice, and I had 2 beautiful girls. But then we wanted another baby, but it wasn't working, so that's why I was seeking help on the internet and everywhere. And I came across Marc's videos on YouTube, and I started basically finding out more information about fertility and basically to be able to find out what my problem was.
It's unfortunate, first and foremost, that she had to deal with all of these losses. It's also unfortunate that she was somewhat dismissed, like, just keep trying, and that she actually had to take her fertility, her health into her own hands. I'm actually glad she took it into her own hands because she was able to get the support she needed, but many people don't. They don't know where to go or where to turn. She started searching, and that's where she started to get answers. Right? That is one of the key things that we can't let just because somebody on the other side of the desk in a white coat said it's not possible or we don't know what it is. That doesn't have to be your reality or your answers. You don't have to take that as gospel. You can search out other answers. And that's exactly what she did. And I really encourage that for all of you. Okay, we'll jump back into her.
And I decided to join the program because I loved his videos, his explanations, and he looked like he knew what he was doing. So that's why I decided to join the program. And it was in 2023, in August, I think. And
that's when she joined.
Soon we ran some tests and addressed some issues. He came up with my specialized program. And soon after that, I noticed lots of changes in my body, because before I used to be I felt quite often sick, like with flu or headaches or whatever. And it was quite often. I ran a high fever, and it was a couple of times during the winter. And basically after I started eating the supplements and changed basically my eating habits and everything. So I would say in 3 months time, it changed. I wasn't sick anymore, or I just suffered very mild symptoms, very mild, no fever, which was very uncommon for me. So this was a big win for me.
So I call these baby wins, small wins. These are the little steps we have to take to get to the ultimate win, right? So we evaluated her case. When we did that, we found some thyroid issues, some autoimmune issues, we found low progesterone, and we started to address these things at the root, because that's the only way that I know how to make changes that are long lasting and significant enough that she could feel those changes. And so would it be wonderful with all of that in 3 months, yes, she was pregnant immediately? That would be great. And I wouldn't be upset about it. But I also don't mind that she started to notice changes across the board. Her energy changed. She wasn't getting sick. Her immune system was stronger. She didn't have fevers or headaches and all of these things. These are significant changes for someone who had them all the time, right? So these are significant wins. This is like climbing the ladder to get to the top of the mountain. And she's starting to climb. We don't just like go from the bottom to the top unless we've got a gondola ride, right? Which happens from time to time. We take the express route. She didn't. She took the steps and she was climbing and climbing. And with each step that she took, with each progress, she felt better. And that was motivation to keep going because she knew she was on the right path.
And also we found out about my thyroid issues. It wasn't working perfectly. It was not too bad, but it was not ideal for pregnancy. So I addressed that. And another thing was Marc suggested that I should be using progesterone. I first started the progesterone cream, but I think he said that I should be on pills, that I need stronger support. And when I did that, so it finally worked. So I think this was the underlying issue, the low progesterone, maybe the thyroid, also my immune issues, which he supported so well. So I believe that all together it just made the difference. And in this last pregnancy, there was really no problem at all. It just worked so well, no complications.
I'm going to stop right now before she's going to get ahead of me and we're going to forget my train of thought. But these are all issues like in and of themselves individually, that might not be enough to cause recurrent losses, certainly maybe not 9, right? But when they compound and you have multiple variables or factors influencing one another, it makes it more difficult. And I do believe it was all of those issues compounding together that made her have the ongoing losses that she had. Now, coming back to progesterone, for some, they just need a little bit of support, a low dose to help kind of nudge the body in the right direction and give it what it needs or allow it to make more of what it needs. In her situation, after we did that, we weren't seeing enough of a shift, enough of a change, and that's something that we were monitoring. And as a result of that, that's why I asked her to seek out from her OB to get a stronger dose of progesterone, which is what she did. And that was the final piece, I believe, and I think you heard her say that really opened the door and allowed her to conceive in the end and not have another loss.
So in the previous pregnancies, I always spotted and struggled with that. And
that's right. I was spotting this one.
It was a threatening miscarriage and everything. And there was no spotting at all during the whole pregnancy, during the whole 13 months, not once. So it just worked so well, really no problems. Everything was so fine. I enjoyed it. And also the delivery, it was so fast. I had perfect blood pressure. And even though I'm 41, so again, the recovery was just great. So keep seeking because there is always a reason, and when the doctors told me that there is no reason, so I just, even though I'm not a doctor, so I just knew that that's a nonsense, that there must be something that's hindering me from basically delivering a healthy child. So I kept seeking and also, get your heart healed and don't try to dwell too much on the losses because then it impacts the next attempt. And if you get pregnant, so then you are just totally scared and overwhelmed if you think about the losses too much.
I do think with the losses, it is important to acknowledge them and to take a moment to grieve. Yeah, and to mourn those losses, but then be able to move beyond and move on to the next. I also think it's super normal and expected to have some fear the next time you get pregnant and not know what to expect. So those things are common. We just don't want to live in that place. And we want to make sure that you're getting the right support so it's easy to move past those areas.
And you don't have in your heart the room for the next pregnancy. So I would say don't dwell on it too much, but keep yourself encouraged, hopeful that it will work.
And what were the doctors telling you when you were having those losses? Did they give you any explanation? What was the solution that they gave you?
They said they don't know. You don't know. There was really no explanation. That I just had bad luck. That's what they told me. That case, try again, and it can be my age, just try again.
So this part to me is super frustrating. Usually age is the answer you're given. I'm not saying that's not a factor, but it's not always the factor, especially when you've had 9 losses. And in her case, they didn't even bother to look. They really didn't run any more advanced testing to try to determine what the issues were. That is probably my biggest frustration in her situation, because I do believe a lot of this could have been prevented, but she wasn't getting the attention that she deserved. And that happens, unfortunately. So I'm glad that she sought out that care. And I encourage all of you, if you don't feel like you're getting the support you need, to seek it out as well.
They ran some genetic tests, but that was all fine. But they took no hormone tests or anything like that, thyroid tests. They said, I don't need that, even though I asked about that. So it was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, and I will say in that situation, thyroid testing, progesterone testing, that's very basic, foundational things. It wasn't even very, advanced, deeper testing that we normally run. So that's super frustrating for me in her situation.
I was so happy that Dr. Sklar basically helped me with that and helped me to point me to the right tests, because on my own, I wouldn't know what to look for. There is a reason. And in my case, I know it was the low progesterone, probably immune and thyroid issues. So obviously, I didn't have to go through any of them. Unfortunately, I didn't know what I know now. So for me, it was just not right to finish my fertility journey like that with bad result. And I felt like there's another one, a baby boy. Basically, he had a thing on our heart before he was even conceived.
After hearing this incredible story of perseverance and ultimate success, I want to share some crucial insights about recurrent pregnancy loss that could help you or someone you love. So what does this teach us about recurrent pregnancy loss? First, her story perfectly illustrates why I always tell my couples that unexplained recurrent pregnancy loss is actually uninvestigated recurrent pregnancy loss, when doctors only run basic genetic testing and call everything else normal. They're missing 80% of the potential causes. And in her case, things were pretty basic to look at. Second, notice how she had been able to carry 2 previous pregnancies successfully, yet doctors missed her concerns about the losses. This shows that your reproductive system can change over time, and what worked before may need support to work again. Third, her overall health transformation. No more frequent illnesses, no more high fevers, stronger immune function. This demonstrates that fertility challenges are often symptoms of broader health imbalances. When you address the root causes, everything improves. What you can learn from her journey is this: trust your instincts. She knew in her heart that bad luck wasn't a real explanation for 9 losses. When something doesn't feel right, keep looking for answers. Number 2, comprehensive testing is essential. Basic fertility panels and genetic testing aren't sufficient for recurrent pregnancy loss investigation. You need to evaluate hormones, immune function, thyroid optimization, and so much more. And often multiple factors often contribute. Her success came from addressing thyroid function, progesterone levels, and immune imbalances together, not just one isolated issue. Next, timing matters. She was 41 when she had her successful pregnancy, proving that age alone isn't the determining factor when root causes are properly addressed. Emotional healing is absolutely important as well. She emphasized the need to process past losses while maintaining hope for the future. Both are crucial for success. And sometimes mild issues have major impact. Her thyroid and progesterone weren't severely abnormal, but optimizing them made all the difference between loss and successful pregnancy. Her story demonstrates exactly why the HOPE program takes such a thorough approach to recurrent pregnancy loss. We don't just run a few tests and call it comprehensive. We evaluate and look at complete thyroid panels, including TPO antibodies and reverse T3. We run detailed hormone assessments, including progesterone, throughout a woman's menstrual cycle. We run comprehensive immune system evaluations, and we check for inflammatory markers and autoimmune panels. Additionally, nutritional status and methylation factors are super valuable, as is environmental toxin exposure assessment. When you've experienced recurrent losses, you can't afford to guess or use one-size-fits-all approaches. You need personalized protocols based on your specific imbalances and deficiencies. If you've experienced recurrent pregnancy loss and been told there's no explanation, I want you to know something important. There is always a reason. Always. You might have been told it's bad luck, your age, or stress. You might have had basic testing that came back normal. But as this incredible woman's story shows, normal isn't the same as optimal. And comprehensive investigation can reveal the answers you've been seeking. Her journey from 9 devastating losses to holding her healthy baby boy at 41 happened because she refused to accept unexplained as a final answer. She kept seeking until she found someone willing to dig deeper. If her story resonates with you and you're ready to take action, here's your next step. Book a complimentary fertility consultation with my team. This isn't just another generic consultation. It's a comprehensive evaluation where we will analyze your specific situation and determine how we can help you get answers you've been seeking. On this call, we're going to review your complete fertility health history, including any losses that you've experienced. We're also going to identify potential root causes that may have been overlooked by previous testing. And then we're going to discuss which comprehensive tests could provide the missing pieces for your puzzle. Additionally, we're going to explain how our personalized approach addresses complex cases like recurrent pregnancy loss. And we're going to determine if the Hope Fertility Coaching Program is the right fit for you and your unique situation. You don't have to keep accepting unexplained as your answer. You don't have to keep trying the same approaches that just haven't worked. Just like the incredible woman you heard from today, you deserve a comprehensive investigation. You deserve a personalized protocol and a team that believes there is always answers to be found in your situation. The link to book your complimentary fertility consultation is in the description below. Remember, every loss taught her something about what her body needed. Every failed attempt was actually gathering information that eventually led to her success. Your losses aren't failures. They're data points that can guide you to the right solution. You don't have to accept unexplained as your final answer. You don't have to settle for just keep trying without addressing the root causes. Your rainbow baby is possible. Sometimes you just need the right expertise, the right testing, and the determination to keep seeking answers when others stop looking. Until the next video, stay fertile and never lose hope.